this is where, like, not only we've seen this incident with kids, but also as well, it's now getting to adults. This is where it's getting crazy. And what exactly am I talking about? Of course, I am talking about the hit series known as Death Note. Now, this is another series and all that has caused more controversy and all that throughout every time that we've ever seen it and all that. And let's exactly talk about the article that we're talking today about Death Note. An elementary school in Fukushima Prefecture held a meeting on Wednesday that discussed incidents of one of the teachers telling students, "I'll write your names in Death Note." During the meeting, the school reportedly apologized to the students' guardians. According to the school, the male teacher in his 30s used his own tablet to display an image of Death Note from the popular Death Note franchise. The teacher reportedly used the image to warn students from the end of November to the beginning of December last year. According to the school, the teacher told a total of 4 students in 6th grade that he would write their names in the Death Note. Holy shit, like that's something. Now, we've heard these incidents, if anything, on the case that we've heard this from more younger kind of people and all that. We've heard this from kind of like 16, 17, you know, people who are kind of like in this world who are thinking, you know, I'm going to write your name in Death Note. Fuck that bully. He needs to die and all that. He deserves it. And I can certainly say, if anything, this is one of the first few times I've kind of heard this sort of scenario happening where I've heard it from an adult. This is a 30-year-old man, okay? This is older than me. I'm 22 as a recording of this video. And I've got to say that you're doing that to 6th grader kids. Jesus Christ, how, like, if anything and all that, like, how stupid and all that do you have to be for any of that kind of shit to happen? Now, for some people that actually don't know about kind of like 6th grade and all that, you know, he's dealing with about like 11 to 12-year-old kids. Like, that's the sort of age demographic he's dealing with, and that's the kind of time, you know, where kids can be annoying, they can be pain in the asses. And I'm sure one day, like, with anything, I would have understood if this was like just one kid. He's just like, you know what, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna write your Death Note, leave me alone, kid. But no, if any, you did this to multiple kids. This is still an age of them where they are still, you know, their minds can be mentally damaged, if anything. And it's like, how would you feel if, like, if anything, if some of my viewers as well who are still in high school or in, like, you know, junior high, like any of that kind of stuff, like right there, like, how would you feel if your homeroom teacher or just any teacher in general, you're having science class and you did a dick move or something? It's like, oh, you know, screw that, I'm fighting with Timmy. It's like, now we're having none of that today now here, Frank. Otherwise, I'm gonna not write your name in the Death Note. Like, you just don't do that, like, at all and all that. And this is just, like, kind of the sad thing where it's like, I really do enjoy Death Note. I think it's like, it's a cult classic, if anything, at this point and all that. You know, so many people know the name Death Note, whether you've watched the show, read the, like, the manga, the live action movies or TV series, like Death Note is everywhere. It's everywhere and all that, and it's always going to stay that way. And, like, if anything, you know, like from what we've seen, it's like, oh, this is going to bring the name down of, like, Death Note. It's, like, it's had so many situations of this, like, incident now and all that. If anything, like, now, like, it's like, oh, I remember Death Note. Like, oh, I should rewatch that again, if anything. But I think it's just, like, some people just need to control themselves. And, like, if anything, like, I think, like, I can understand that probably doing a, like, teacher job must be a stressful situation. I have no friends who are currently that. I have, like, one of my friends is a teacher assistant, like, dealing with, like, you know, little kids and all that, like, with, like, you know, like, 6-year-olds and all that. And trust me, she said, oh, they could be annoying sometimes and all that, but, you know, you can't have to have that mentality of where you can't do shit like that. I'm not gonna be that bitch from, like, The Simpsons, like, think of the children. No, if anything and all that, I'm coming from this from, like, a reasonable standpoint where it's like, hey, I enjoy this series. Like, it sucks that it always has to keep being brought up in, like, you know, such annoying, like, circumstances. Like, if anything, I want to hear it, you know, in the good limelight and all that. You know, we got that recent, like live action that's coming out soon and all that, which I believe is supposed to be a Netflix sort of original. I'm not too much on that. I haven't really been checking on the information about that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you don't want to hear that, where it's like, you know, you hear the story of, like, some person, like, drowned himself in, like, sand or some shit, like that, to recreate Naruto, or, like, one kid killed himself in, like, Naruto and all that because it's his favorite character, Tachi, died. You know, there's a bunch of, like, situations that we've heard of from the, like, you know, multiple series and all that, and, like, some people just take it way overboard and all that, and that's sad because it does paint, like, the anime community and anything in a little bit of the bad limelight, and it shows that, you know, out, like, the tiny percent there will be crazy people and all that to do this. And I find it, like, surprising that this guy was able to get like this job and all that, teaching these kids, and then doing something like that. Like, you know, I just can't imagine, like, you know, like someone getting that job and it's like, yeah, maybe every now and then, I don't know if like schools do like a psychiatric test or something like that, just make sure that they aren't crazy, or they haven't had reports of kids reporting saying, hey, that teacher's a dick, like, if anything. So I don't know, the fact that it's happened multiple times and all that, I was like, yeah, no wonder, like, the school had to, like, you know, apologize. And I'm pretty goddamn sure that guy is never going to get a teaching role ever again, or he's never going to work with children anymore. So if anything, you're not going to have anything like that happen after a while. But let me know what you guys think and all that, about this whole, like, you know, controversy and all that. Like, I'm kind of interested to see what you guys think in the comments section down below about this, because, like, Jesus, like, if anything, like, it's not, I don't think it's the worst thing that happens. Like, I mean, obviously, there's been worse things happening, like, you know, with all of it going down and all that, you know. Thank God this guy didn't actually go through and try and kill these kids, you know. Thank God. There's always, like, a silver lining, I'd like to think, you know. Thank God these guys, like, if anything, these kids wasn't hurt or anything. But I think, if anything, that shows, yeah, please, guys, as much I love anime, this is an anime and manga channel, I absolutely love to death some of my series and all that, like, but just because I really, really like fucking Gintama doesn't mean, like, I'm gonna start, like, fucking, like, doing some of the stupid jokes that it does, like, where, like, one of them, like, Gintama just runs out fucking naked or some shit like that, or, like, whack someone, or, like, let's have another, like, I'm not gonna do a Kamehameha in front of, like, fucking school children, like, children and all that, just saying, here you go, kids, and all that, like, no, you keep it to a down minimum and stuff like that. I'm not saying hide your anime passion. Like, of course, wear like an anime shirt, you know, say, oh, you know, I enjoy the series, but don't just act like this, if anything, and all that. Especially with younger minds and all that, that can actually be, you know, that it can be manipulated like that, and like, you can, like, that could twist them up. Like, if anything, you could, like, fuck a kid up by that. But other than that, that's all we can talk about the topic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.